Okay, so you're a space explorer and you're in space, right? And you meet some space aliens and you want to be their friend. But joke's on you, the space aliens don't have a word for friend. So what do? Well, there's a book about that. That's right, today I'm talking about books! I like to alternate between and science. Sorry, that's a sentence that I wrote. What I meant to say is I like talking about science, and particularly the science of infectious diseases that kill you, but it's nice to take a break sometimes. And today, I would like to tell you about another one of my favorite book series that you may have never heard of, and why you should maybe read it. What's it about? Well, it's about navigating complex social and political relationships, except the people whose social and political relationships you're navigating are a different species from you, and also your ex-girlfriend is putting the moves on your brother, and you're conflicted about that, and some of the aliens don't like you and are trying to kill you. Wait, come back, it's good. I swear, it's good. Okay. Let's introduce our author, C.J. Cherryh. That's Cherry with an H and a second H. Real name C.J. Cherryh without the H. Why the second H? Well, apparently one of her editors thought that Cherry sounds like a romance novelist name, and this was back in the 70s when there wasn't quite as much overlap between speculative fiction and romance. You know, better times. Anyway, Cherry is a science fiction / fantasy veteran with 80 plus books to her name, and I'm surprised she doesn't get talked about more alongside some of science fiction's greats, because she definitely deserves it. One of her 80 books is called Foreigner, published in 1994, and 21 of her 80 plus books are direct sequels to Foreigner, together making up the Foreigner series, as it's known by the fandom, although Cherry herself refers to it as the First Contact series for good reason. So let me give you the story setup of Foreigner, a basically slightly expanded version of the blurb on the back of the book. Mild spoilers, I think I'm contractually obligated to say that, but we're talking very mild, okay? Here we go. The humans are out in space in their spaceships doing space stuff when one day one of those spaceships, a colony ship ferrying people from Earth, I think, to a distant colony, experiences a freak space accident and gets lost. It limps along for a while until it finds a habitable planet, but the habitable planet, it turns out to be inhabited. Who would have thought? The aliens seem nice, though. They're currently in the process of building railroads around the continent, so the people in the spaceship, and there's a bit of, and the humans land on the planet and start interacting with the aliens, called the Atevi. And they're nice, and people and Atevi are getting along until very suddenly they aren't. And there is a massive war that comes to be called the War of the Landing. It turns out 1,000 dudes can't win a war against the planet, superior technology notwithstanding. The dude economy is just not good. So also, it's not helped by the fact that... But they managed to make peace on the following terms. The humans get to live on the island where they first touched down, but they're not allowed to leave or interact with the Atevi except for one, count it, one, Piety, the Atevi word for mediator, who has to live with the Atevi and act as the acting ambassador to the humans and oversee the gradual transfer of human technology to the Atevi in a way that won't collapse their society. Got all that? Cool. Okay, that was like the first 20 pages of the book. Cut to 200 years later, and Bren Cameron, a human and newly appointed Piety to the Atevi, meets with Tabini, the new IG, or leader of the Atevi, heavy asterisk here, not going to go into it. Anyway, they hang out, go to a firing range together, and Tabini says, hey, you're all right, and you can shoot a little, so here's a gun. Keep it secret, and don't worry about it. And so kicks off the actual plot of Foreigner. So in the immediate sense, Foreigner is about Bren, a literal foreigner and very much a fish out of water, trying to survive Atevi politics without getting killed. In a broader sense, it's an exploration of alien society that turns on their own unique psychology, biology, and culture. Atevi don't have the concept of friendship or of love, Atevi have Man-Chi, and you give Man-Chi to someone, and that someone holds your Man-Chi. You feel something for them, and they feel something for you, and those feelings may be somewhat asymmetrical, but this is the fundamental social emotional bond around which Atevi society revolves. CJ Cherryh never engages in a Brandon Sanderson-style deep dive explanation of the intricacies of Man-Chi or how it works. Instead, you get a broad overview from Bren's outsider perspective, but also innumerable examples of how it affects character relationships and actions throughout the course of the books. This, in my opinion, is one of Cherryh's core strengths as an author, and it's how she handles most of the world building throughout the series. And Man-Chi is just the tip of the iceberg of Atevi lore. There is so much more, and it's great. So, science fiction, aliens, you're thinking, okay, that's nothing new. Science fiction exploring alien culture is practically a staple of the genre, right? Well, kind of, but actually, a lot of times, no. Often, aliens are a vehicle for the author to introduce an antagonist, or to drive the plot, or to teach a lesson, or maybe just an opportunity for creating an interesting character. Even in, say, Mary Doria Russell's novel The Sparrow, which is all about human-alien first contact and a deep dive into alien culture, the aliens were kind of there to make a point. In Foreigner, the aliens are the point, and they don't drive the plot so much as they are the setting in which the plot happens. While we follow fellow human Bren Cameron, and he is critical to the narrative, he isn't the core of the narrative. The alien characters aren't there for Bren's benefit, they just are, and Bren's fate happens to be entangled with theirs. Pulling back out to an even broader perspective, the book and the series in general is about how relationships affect major events in the course of the world. These relationships can be between humans and aliens, or humans and humans. The key to all of this is a world and characters that have weight and feel like they matter. And if I didn't think Cherryh did a good job on all those points, I wouldn't be recommending this book. It's hard to stuff the series into a particular subgenre, but it's got elements you might see in political thrillers, adventure novels, and even a few contributions from space operas as the series develops. As much as I want to talk more about the lore and the characters, I don't want to be here all day, and it's all really best experienced by reading anyway, so let's talk a little on style and touch on a few points that might put you off the book, and call it a day. So, style. I personally tend to prefer my prose to be a bit stylized or otherwise elevated, but Cherryh writes in a very accessible, baseline American English. This being a book about aliens, with a fair bit of focus on the particularities of alien language, there are a ton of alien words just casually thrown in throughout the text. I found the way these words are introduced and used throughout quite smooth, and I'll expect you'll quickly just learn to go with the flow until alien linguistics becomes second nature to you, but maybe this could trip some people up. Every book, there is an index at the end of the book if you need to look something up. The other, stylistic thing about this book is that you get it almost entirely from Bren's perspective. It's done in third-person narration, but it's a bit particular in that the reader only experiences what Bren experiences. For example, if Cherryh, the author, needs to explain a concept to the reader, she'll have Bren think about it, or talk about it, or have someone explain it to Bren. The reader is essentially stuck in some combination of peeking over Bren's shoulder or listening to the thought in his head the entire time. There is no omniscient narrator at any point. Even in the first few pages at the very beginning of the book, where we follow the lost human ship limping along, it's done through short vignettes following the perspective of some of the ship crew, or Atevi on the ground experiencing the human landing. Anyway, I think it's interesting, but not such a major departure from modern writing conventions that I think most readers would find it off-putting or even notice it, really. But it does lead us to some of the stuff you might not like about the book. Point one, like 99% of it is Bren talking to people, mostly alien people, and thinking about things. This is not an action-heavy book, and it's not a violence-heavy book. When action or violence does happen, it's usually brief, chaotic, and since we get everything from Bren's perspective, it goes something along the lines of, "Why am I on the ground? Was that an explosion? Wait, is that guy dead?" This holds true for pretty much all of the series. The action, when it does happen, is usually appropriately timed, well set up, deserved, and cathartic. It's not bad, but it's not the focus. I also find that the plot structure of the books can get a little formulaic. This isn't true for all of them, and there's quite a few that mix things up, but a good half the books follow the basic structure of inciting event, political maneuvering, lots of talking, rising tensions, more talking, unexpected ploy, people talk some more, a plan gets made, violence erupts, dude gets shot, brief resolution. The series does not really evolve stylistically throughout its duration. Okay, it does a little bit about halfway through. I don't really want to get into spoilers, but not much, and the last book pretty much reads like the first book. This is usually a major negative for me for series that are longer than 5 books or so. I don't mind it here, I guess mostly because we're seeing what happens to the world and the characters, and that's why I'm invested in reading the series. Anyway, not a problem for me in this instance, might be a problem for you. Caveat reader, I guess. On the flip side, if you like the first book, then you know exactly what you're getting into. So forewarned, as I hope you now are, I can highly recommend Foreigner. It is a great book and the start of an excellent series that occupies a unique space in science fiction. Go check it out.